Hi, everybody. It was the spring of 2012 when I first set foot on the island. I was an energetic little 13-year-old kid, but the type of kid that always acted and looked older than I actually was. It was the way I carried myself, as if I'd been through it all. Because I had, in fact. I had been through it all. I had never heard of the island, so when my teacher told me we were going, I had mixed feelings about it. Sure, I always liked watching Animal Planet, but that was very different than being on an island surrounded by plants and bugs. You know what I was thinking? No thanks, Jason. Just stay home. I mean, what kind of people really enjoy being outside in the scorching sun, constantly getting bit by mosquitoes, just watching grass grow? Turns out, my kind of people. But before I go any further, let me tell you about where I come from. I was raised right here in Boston. I was raised in a part of the city where, before the streetlights came on, it was best to be in your house. My elementary school, well, let's be honest, it was less than ideal. Instead of being a kid, I put up a front to show kids that I was tough, because that's how you survive. Why did I have to be tough? Well, for one, I had a lot of health problems. In third grade, I had a tumor growing on my head. I was known as the bump boy. I got the kind of attention you didn't want as a kid. Kids constantly saying how nasty it looked. Then I became deaf for one ear, which most people don't even know about because I make sure I take advantage and I persevere through every opportunity presented to me. But that takes an incredible amount of work. So, my life has never been perfect, but I am lucky enough because I have two parents who love me. Their attitude has driven me to stop making my neighborhood, my hearing, and my insecurities an excuse. It's driven me to take advantage of every opportunity presented to me, like Thompson Island. So back to the first day on the island. I stepped onto the boat as a 13-year-old tough guy, terrified in heights, a C student in science, and wasn't sure who I was or who I'd become. This is what Thompson Island has helped me to do. Now, I told you I was afraid of heights, right? And before the island, I got nauseated just being 6 feet off the ground. So you have no idea how hard I laughed when my instructors told me I was going to be attached to this little piece of rope climbing the Alpine Tower 62 feet in the air. All summer, I had my mind made up. I told them, I am not getting on that thing. I can't, I won't, and I don't want to. My instructor, John, looked at me and said, the only reason why you can't is because you're telling yourself you can't. Ignore the voice in your head and show yourself you can. Next thing you know, I was strapping on my harness and tying into that little rope and standing at the bottom looking up the top of the tower. I thought for sure I'd scream like a baby the minute my feet left the ground. But as I took the first step, John's words repeated in my head. One foot after the other, I kept climbing. I made my way up all 62 feet of that tower. And just sitting at the top and looking out over Boston and soaking in my accomplishment is one of the most memorable moments of my life. While climbing is a huge part of my Thompson Island experience, the island's impact on my academics has been even more important. Like I said, I didn't have the best grades. I wasn't terrible, but in my house, a C might as well have been an F. I guess I just didn't think I was smart enough or had the drive. Thinking back on it now, I put up a wall to protect myself from everything happening in my life. I didn't have the energy to spend time on school because I was just trying to survive. So when I went to the island for the first time in 7th grade, I got to experience a place that I felt safe. And all the fears and insecurities I had about my neighborhood, my hearing, my bullies, all vanished when I stepped on that boat. It was a place that let me be me. The front I'd carry for so many years fell away. I got to be a kid, fun, curious, and excited. And you'd never know that it was all happening while I was learning. Yeah, how crazy is that? On that expedition, I discovered that I was smart. And just like climbing, I realized I was the only thing holding myself back. Coming back to the island year after year since has improved my grades. Today, I'm getting A's in my AP science classes. And I'm graduating this year with a 3.5 GPA. And not only have I been accepted to all 9 of my colleges, but they're fighting over getting me to attend. For me, I now believe the possibilities are limitless. I believe in myself so strongly because for 5 dedicated years, Thompson Island has believed in me. The staff, Shalise, Sam, Olga, I know you're here tonight, and you guys have always been there for me. So thank you for being by my side year after year, and thank you for helping make me who I am today. Mom, Dad, thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for helping me realize the potential that I have. Thank you for everything. Thompson Island is a big part why I believe I can be the man I always knew was inside of me. I can do the impossible because on Thompson Island, the impossible becomes possible. And what you can't do becomes what you can do. In the fall, I'll go off to one of those 9 colleges, and while I may no longer be able to visit Thompson Island as much, the island will always be with me, driving me to be my very best self. So thank you to all of you. Because you supported the island, you've supported me. So my journey is your journey, and I guarantee you, it's just the beginning. Thank you. Yeah.